Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andy Ostcliffe. I'm from Oxfam. This is a little unique little presentation that we've got this afternoon, slightly exclusive, so we'll try and make it as interesting as we possibly can. Can I just ask for a show of hands if anyone is from the charity sector, because I'm always conscious that we don't give too many secrets away. Right, there you go. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through how Oxfam interacts with our customers and supporters and the shop network to deliver probably one of the most comprehensive offers available today in the marketplace and beyond our traditional sector. I've worked in charity retail now for 7 years. Prior to Oxfam, I worked for another quite large national charity. Today they are the largest reseller on eBay in the world from a charity perspective, and prior to that I worked for John Lewis, so bringing some of those big commercial skills with us into charity retail. At 96 brand recognition, Oxfam boasts almost what you could class as a out of the starting blocks approach to omni-retail. And our shop network has 575 shops. We generate £92 million in revenue, and it's supported by a major physical and digital infrastructure. And certainly when I say out the starting blocks, Oxfam accredited for the very first charity shop 75 years ago, and one of the first to open their own online activities in terms of transacting and retailing online back in 2006. Today that offer is in excess of 300,000 individual units that we have for sale on a weekly basis. And that's the underlying point, that the SKUs are never static. It's not a case of big, large corporate donations or lots of SKUs with lots of different variants. These are almost individual items. So from a point of how we transact and how we manage and how we communicate with the store network is pretty unique. And of course, you've got all differing and competing methods of interaction with the stores as well. So we've got brands, we've got campaign, we've got retail communications, and all those have got to coexist. It's a tricky combination of physical store engagement along with all the customer transactions that go along with that as well. I must point out we are also quite fortunate in some of the collaborations that we now undertake as well. So as a retail operation, and I'll talk a little bit more about online in a few moments, but as a retail operation we also partner with some pretty big brands out in the marketplace. Tony's, Chocolonely being one of them, Marks and Spencer's from a shopping perspective. And this year we saw a huge engagement through the golden ticket to be found in the bar of chocolate. You might reminisce back to a film of many years ago. And we gave away 5 golden tickets to attend Glastonbury, and in doing so sold 25,000 chocolate bars. And I can tell you that we really underestimated the amount of chocolate bars we needed. We ran out of chocolate bars in 9 days, so hopefully we'll get some more for next season. So how does that look and how does it operate really? So 270,000 items online from a donated perspective. That includes 160,000 books. We've got 120 physical books and music shops on the high street that we physically transact from, and around 20,000 items of ladies' fashion. So in terms of what's really popular with our customer sets, it's books 1, ladies' fashion 2. And in terms of value, books is worth around £3 million online. It's worth around £22 million in our shop network. So it's a considerable size and it's a considerable business to look after. Ladies fashion, we deal with donated items. We have Swap It through Marks and Spencer's, and we also have what the shops are listing individually. So on that network, what will happen is our shops will receive donations. They'll go through a selection process of what they feel will sell quite well online, and then they're listed physically in the location. They're sold physically from that location, but they all come together on one single site, which is the Oxfam online shop, where we undertake all the transactions, customer service, etc. That does mean that we do need some real big physical infrastructure to look after that type of business. And especially with our new goods range also, if you throw into what the donated business looks like, you can add another 1,100 SKUs in there in terms of donated. Quite important when you look at the work that we undertake around the world with campaigning and supporting different communities. And some of the items that you'll find in our shops include fair trade tea, coffee, supporter relations and communities that we support around the world. And one really good example would be the I Was a Sari product, which we support 170 ladies who work in a factory in Mumbai. They essentially go out onto the marketplace, they buy up used saris, they bring them back and convert them into shopping bags, waistcoats, slippers, wash bags, totes, all kinds of stuff, and all those are sold online and through our physical shop network as well. So that includes 170,000 square feet of logistics and warehousing that we have digitally connected in terms of how those transactions take place online. The majority of our Sourced by Oxfam range is through our online shop, but we've just started trading through eBay, and from January last year to where we are now from a standing start, our eBay business is now worth £1.8 million. So we enable the marketplace rather than trying to compete against the marketplace in order to capture both revenue, attention and transactions as well. In terms of what our eBay business looks like, so if you were looking at where that business has come from, we will generate between 4,500 to 6,000 listings per week. Those are predominantly generated through the large operation centres that we've got, which are in Yorkshire and in Buckinghamshire and Milton Keynes. Pretty good in terms of sell-through rate, so 80% of those listings will transact on a weekly basis, and then we generally list over a 7-day period. DPD is the method of delivery, it's tracked, and we offer free and fast delivery to our customers, and do the best that we can in terms of manipulate the algorithms on eBay and Etsy to make sure that we've got all the traffic in the right places. On Oxfam online shop, you'll be able to see on the right hand side, we'll have at least 270,000 unique items. We do have an extended sell-through rate because we do have to manage acquisition of traffic in that particular area. The delivery is £3.95. We do offer free returns, but 90% of that stock is listed through our shop network. And that shop network will consist of up to 22,000 volunteers. They're not all working online, they do have other duties, but certainly online is something that we try and install some enthusiasm into and get them listing on a weekly basis. It's interesting, I'll try and answer one of these questions because I think this might pop up actually. Why free delivery on eBay and why do you charge on online shop? It's a bit of an experiment really, because what we wanted to do is we wanted to test the marketplace to see what the interaction would be. And what we found on eBay is that our returns are extremely low. So our returns are well in the single digits that we receive. And how we do that is that we make it that you return the item at your expense. So you pay for postage. It's still a free return when it comes back to us, but you pay for the postage. The quid pro quo to that is that we'll give you free delivery on that volume going out, and you get a tracked delivery. However, on the other side of the coin, which would be Oxfam Online Shop, we charge £3.95 and we offer free returns. And our return rate on Oxfam Online Shop, it runs between 12 to 14%. So again, how you operate with the customer sets and manipulate what behaviour looks like from a returns perspective is quite important to us. We also generate an awful lot of our volume and online interactions with customers through a donation service. A couple of our locations have drive-through donation stations, and they're extremely popular. Yep, you can get a drive-through donation station. It's an idea that we picked up from the States. Currently operates in Seattle Goodwill. They're now called Evergreen Goodwill. And they took over some old Walgreen and Walmart large retail complexes and built in drive-through donation stations. And in fact, in some of their donation stations, they've got multiple lanes, so you have to pick what lane you want to go into for the donation that you're making. So we try and make that interaction as seamless and as easy as possible. I think there aren't too many of us now who are prepared to walk down a high street with several boxes and bags and make donations over the doorstep, although we're entirely grateful if you do. So we try and ease that with a free bag which is fully recyclable, or you can print a label and pop it on a box and send it to us. And the amount of donations that we receive through that service on a weekly basis is between 4 to 6 tons of books and clothing on a weekly basis. So it certainly has a level of engagement. And in our sorting location that we have, where we look at that product, we either list, we will certainly do a lot of recycling in that location and be able to send that product back to our shops as well. So if we start to overflow the online operation, we make sure it's available from a physical perspective. And from a physical perspective, sometimes it ends back up online again. So it's pretty good in terms of how the process works. My marketing department will absolutely kill me for showing this picture. But you're probably wondering, okay, so you've got a reasonable size online business, which is worth in the region of about £10 million. Overall retail business is worth about £92 million. What you're doing with online then, where's it going? How do you manage not to compete with different marketplaces such as Etsy, eBay and your own channel as well? We've been looking really carefully over probably the last 2 years in terms of how we sustain our existing shopping channel. So on a very busy week, we will receive orders for and dispatch 25,000 individual items, and those are all handled by the shop network. So that's pretty good. You can spread that volume out across best part of 575 locations. But certainly from a business perspective, and that's how online and retail is treated within Oxfam, what you want to do is you want to be able to give yourself some headroom and some operating capacity as well, rather than just throwing more resource into a very large building. So we've decided to look at our current online model in terms of a marketplace, and we're going to create our own marketplace. It'll still be Oxfam Online Shop, but we'll give that product a life cycle on Online Shop, and then we'll cascade the product into eBay. We may cascade the product into Etsy. We may cascade some of that product into Depop as well. So traditional marketplaces where you'd normally find pre-loved or second-hand items and clothing, etc. But what we'll also start to do is over the next 12 to 18 months, we'll bring a level of AI into play and machine learning that gives us an indication of when we sell those items, where they sold, how much they sold for, and how quickly. And in doing so, we're hoping that in 18 months' time, that machine learning will automatically take the decision away from our volunteer and colleagues that are working very busy in the shops and in some of those big logistics centres as well. It'll take that concern away from them, or that challenge away from them, in terms of making sure that everything's been not uniquely priced, but has a pricing which fits in with the psyche of what a customer's prepared to pay, but we can have standardized delivery, we can have standardized tracked delivery, and therefore make it more of a destination to shop. But equally, it should improve sell-through rate and it should improve average selling price, which has got to be a good thing in terms of our current operation as it stands at the moment. So, just to have a look at how that engagement works between online and our physical shops. Total of 575 shops, which is growing, and certainly an interest in superstore locations and drive-throughs, as I talked about earlier. We manage all the logistics, we manage all of the postage. So with that volume, we're able to discuss directly with couriers, logistics organisations, large volumes that we can then spread across that retail network. We take that worry and concern completely out of the hands of the shops, and we control that on their behalf. Certainly from a customer service and questions and queries and returns, we've also started to deploy a level of AI as well. So if you ask a question on an item that you're looking to either place a bid on, or you're looking at it on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday morning where we don't traditionally have office hours working, then our AI system will pick that up and will answer that question automatically. And we could probably tell you, well, we know what customers ask in terms of questions, so we try and auto-populate those, and anything that we can't auto-populate after 3 goes, you'll get through to a human and we'll try and answer that question for you. We also handle any queries, we also handle any returns directly from our shop network. Their main focus is to identify the product, photograph the product, and get that product online. So the easier we can make that, the better. And we'll give them lots and lots of trend and data analysis so they know exactly what to look for, what's trending at the moment online. It's no surprise that through June, July and August, boys and girls clothing between the ages of 6 and 12 was absolutely on fire in terms of online demand, what customers were shopping for, but the inventory wasn't there generally across the marketplace, so anything that came into our shops that was reasonable in terms of a donation and we could put that age range and category online, we certainly did particularly well in it. Similarly with Doc Martin shoes, which were very popular, pink ladies wear, because of a specific film, was very popular. And also, believe it or not, I don't know where these facts and figures come from, but cowboy boots are in trend online at the moment. So shop for cowboy boots, and our shops are looking for them as well. We look after all the learning and development. It can be quite difficult sometimes when you're trying to run a physical shop and keep up with the trends online, so we'll keep them all up to date in terms of our customer service stats, our return stats, and similarly from a promotional and marketing point of view, we take care of all that. We'll run the system centrally. At one point we did a few years ago have individual eBay accounts, and you can imagine trying to look after the thick end of 400 eBay accounts was an absolute nightmare, so we'll take that away from them. We also do all the traffic acquisition, so lots of work with Google Pro Max, Google AdWords, etc. in terms of the product that we have. And we also have quite a large buying and merchandising team. So Sourced by Oxfam, a standalone team itself, is worth £15 million on top of what our online business looks like. And that's resourced with a 22-person team. So it's pretty busy in terms of product sourcing, volumes and acquisitions as well. I know I can talk, and I think we've got 5 minutes for questions, so I'm more than happy to take any questions that you've got around how the operation looks, works, and where it's going. That good? Okay. Have we got a roaming mic?
Hello. Could you talk a bit about the e-commerce platform itself? Sorry if I missed if I missed that, or are you keeping that under your hat?
So no, our e-commerce platform essentially runs on Oracle. So it's a big old beast that takes quite a bit of looking after. We will be on that platform for probably another 2 years and then transition on to something else. And the market is alive with what that something else looks like at the moment, but we've got a pretty unique kind of operating model. So I think it'll be quite difficult to try and find something off the shelf rather than custom build. But then again, the difficulties and the challenges you can sometimes have with we did have a mentor for quite some times of buy not build, because each time you build something it gets legs and it gets cost and it gets quite challenging in terms of interoperability across other systems as well. But yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, could you just talk about, because I guess you have got a fairly unique challenge in the fact that you're not seasonal, so you're not like a retailer that kind of deals with autumn, winter, spring, summer, so you've got kind of a lead up time to photograph, to upload, to PDPs and all that sort of stuff. The only other thing I can think is like TK Maxx almost, which is a like continual rolling thing on a day. How do you manage that?
We actually make it work in our favour. So January was one of the biggest selling opportunities we had for women's swimwear. So we had a corporate donation from Marks and Spencer's post-COVID on a lot of their range which had been in their shops either pre-COVID or through COVID. Those orders were already on the way to the UK, were going to be delivered, but really they didn't have anywhere to go, and swimwear being, obviously that's what you use when you're going on holiday, so we listed swimwear, and swimwear just absolutely boomed on eBay during January. So from a seasonality point of view, break all the rules, because customers are shopping for what they want when they want it, not necessarily what the season is.
I was just wondering, what's the till system that you use in the shop?
Say again, sorry?
The EPOS system?
We're just in the point of changing our EPOS system. It's quite a big project, but what we will do with our new system is that we'll automatically link gift aid, which is quite an important part of any charity's operation, which is not quite where we would want it at this moment in time, but we will link our gift aid system, but we'll also list central stock and auto replen system as well. Because as we run into peak, and only a few weeks ago we had the hottest day of the year, we were sending literally double-decker trailers out of locations with Christmas cards into shops. The auto replen can be quite tricky, because with the best will in the world, some of our charity shops who are pretty friendly with each other will say, oh, you need some more Christmas cards and crackers, we'll send you some of our Christmas cards and crackers because we've got loads. And then we look at those shop statistics, and to us it looks like they've just had a really, really, really busy weekend on Christmas cards and wrapping paper, so we send them even more. So the EPOS system will really help us in terms of developing that, and that's due in the summer next year.
Thank you.
Just with the shops doing the product upload, how do you make sure that product information is consistent?
That is a challenge. So we have some standards that we adhere to, and we will do some spot checking as well, because quite clearly we want to make sure that everything that we have is authenticated, and we can stand behind that. So we do have checks, but we'll also have a tier system as well with our shops, of which we know where some of the learning and development opportunities are, and we'll start to we focus on those particular areas. We'll also engage with our shops on a regular basis through their area meetings that they have, and we've got quite a support team that looks after, through our own internal customer services. If you get stuck with something, you can place a question internally, and that team will walk you through and help you with it. but it can be challenging, and you do see things on there sometimes and you think, what were we thinking? If you've got any more questions afterwards, my details are up on the screen, but I thank you very much indeed for listening, and enjoy the rest of your show.